My name is AP. I am the Emperor of the Empire of Aeternia, a micronation that was founded in 2016. The initial thing, of course, was the founding of the Empire of Aeternia. That had happened after I had started my first micronation ever, named Viriditas, which was a democracy and had ended up falling apart fairly quickly. After that point, I realized that my own interest in micronationalism superseded necessarily other people's. So what I hoped to do was to found a micronation that I felt could truly represent what I believed I wanted in life, and hopefully that I could find other people that agreed with those same feelings. Since then, we had started our YouTube channel, and through the help of a friend of mine, his channel name is Nick Vinson, who does gaming streams and things like that, had really encouraged me to start my own channel and helped to get us off the ground initially. That being the case, we started to find a micronational community through Discord, started growing through there, and then eventually we ran into a group called Parkistopia, who reached out to us through our YouTube channel. This person, General Secretary Brzett, as he called himself, ended up being somebody who was fairly local to me within the state of Alabama in the United States. I ended up being able to have several in-person meetings with him, which we were able to record for the YouTube channel, and that ended up getting us our largest views so far in the video. That ended up really bringing a lot of traction to our cause and to our channel. We have been continuing to grow from there. Our biggest continual stride since then has been to provide an economy, to find a way for a micronation to sincerely create economic contributions to the world and to ourselves. Right now, our primary jobs that we have available for the citizens of the empire are either as content creators on our YouTube channel, because that is something that once we reach our ability to become a YouTube partner through our channel, we will be able to directly contribute any views gained from our videos into money for the empire, which can then be given as some percentage of that profit back to the citizens who have created those videos. So that's one way that a citizen can not only contribute to the empire, but also make money themselves. And the second way is through our imperial market. As our endeavors to start selling items, for example, through the creation of our metal forge, metal foundry, has been seeking ways to create things that other micronationalists and people all over the world in general want to purchase. So if our citizens say, I may not be able to make videos or content for the channel, but I can provide some skill or some ability that I have, that works just as well. And we hope to utilize those assets in the future by allowing those people to make and sell their own items through that commerce, and hopefully be able to seek profit from that. I think the reason that I feel so strongly against micronational war and war in general is because of the way that it divides communities, the way that it divides people. When any nations go to war with each other, they are saying that they would rather solve the issues that they have with each other through killing each other or through finding ways to damage each other, even if that's not through death. War, by definition, generally has violence and death associated with it. And for micronations, that is something that's been taken to as a coined term to describe feuds between micronations that cannot really ever turn truly violent. So I think for micronations in particular, the term war is misused, and I don't think they should call it war because of the atrocities that have been associated with war in history. But then in general, I think micronational war is futile for micronations because of the limited ability we have to grow already. Our community already is something that's considered very niche and not well known, and by many in the mainstream considered an oddity. So in order for us to prove ourselves as legitimate, in order for realist micronations, as I call them, those attempting to become sincere nations as other nations are viewed, I think it is important and a core foundation of any micronation not to try and divide itself and not to make enemies. If a nation is going out seeking ways to hurt its own already small community, there can be nothing that's gained from that. Well, I think for for micronationalists, that's ultimately the large question: is how do I get people to take what I'm doing seriously, and how do I get people to support what I'm doing? I think firstly and foremostly, be true to what you feel you're interested in micronationalism and why you feel like you started your nation. If for example, in Veritas, when I created it, I wanted to make it more about other people's ideas, which isn't a bad thing to do, but it leads you to not have an initial foundation to build from. If you come in with a passion and a certainty for what you're doing, other people, I believe, can feel that, and other people will then support it. If then you put yourself out there and you start sharing these things, find other people who you can connect with that through, like Discord that we found, like YouTube that we found. Just continually putting yourself out there to those people and explaining the things that you're interested in a way that is non-confrontational and in a way that is supportive of their interests and their belief as well, you can build a community. Sometimes it's important to be a little bit selfish, and sometimes it's important to give back. And I think trying to become a leader in any sense, but especially in a micronational sense, just means trying to find the right way to connect with people, trying to find the right opportunity to do what you can. I think democracies are important because once you get a larger population, you have to make sure that you're able to adequately represent those people's views. But in a small scale, as we talked about earlier, in staying true to one's own vision and their own desires for their nation, you have to make sure that you're able to keep a control on what you're doing, and also to make sure that you are persevering. In democratic micronations, many times, and in all micronations, many times citizens will come and go, many times popularity will rise and fall. What is most important is that you continue what you're doing if you believe what you're doing is right. As a micronation, our goals are to eventually make micronationalism more mainstream. When I entered micronationalism, it was hard to find content about micronations. On the internet, you really had to go out of your way to find that community, and it was very dispersed. So one of our largest goals has been to bring together the micronational community and to make it easier for other micronations to find their way in that community. But then in general, as a nation, we hope to become the largest human empire ever created. We hope to not only become the largest micronation, but eventually the largest nation.